huge. It's like my ancestors are looking over me and they're like, you've got this. You can do this. This is something that I've wanted to do and you're doing it. Hey everybody. What a week. Oh man. My heart is beating right now. Nervousness. I think the nervousness comes up because there's a lot of stuff that I was just speaking with my good friend Ed, and a lot of stuff came up, and it's this space it's a space I'm coming up with where I don't know if I want to share certain things. I think there's certain personal things that I have been dealing with. Yeah, this is true for me. This is what's coming up. I was talking about trauma with Ed, and there was a lot that was coming up within specific trauma, and I think also to protect other people, I think that I will keep this more of a personal thing that I can work through. But what I can use this moment of just being honest and with myself and honest with all of you, as far as growth. If I find that there's a moment that I'm pushing up against that I could grow from, and I'm choosing not to, then that is something where, that I need to look at and I need to share for us to grow together. And this in particular, I think, is a good way to look at choosing things to open up about, and choosing things to open up with someone where you feel is a space you can hold, somewhere where you feel that you can open up and grow safely in that environment. It's like a boundary you're creating for yourself, and there are only so many things that like, there are some things that I need to choose not to share, and some things I can choose to share whenever the time is right. I hope that makes sense. I think try is a word that I am going to take out of my vocabulary. I noticed that it comes up a couple of times where I will use the word try, and try, just I feel it's a cop-out word. It's just an excuse to give me an excuse to not do the thing. So try is not going to be a part of my vocabulary. Ah, man. Okay. I will talk about a moment in time where there was a moment in time where I was a child, and something happened to me, and what I found is that I was not seen in that moment. And what I'm realizing is that within that moment, it connected me with not only trauma, but it connected me with ancestral trauma. And I am just starting to dive into this world of ancestral trauma, and it is already, it is feeling very powerful. And what I'm experiencing is these myself, holding myself back from doing what I love, following my purpose, which is what I am fully doing now, and pushing towards that, is those moments where I want to stop or I want to push back. I feel is that I connect with moments in time when I was a young kid, and other people's traumas were projected onto me without me really knowing. And now later on, I'm starting to realize that I, within those moments, took on their trauma, and also to keep myself safe, put a lid on that specific place. And now that I am more mature and growing, I'm looking back and I'm realizing there is a lot to be had in the world of my ancestry, and connecting with people in my lineage, the cycles that one puts themselves in life, and those cycles feeling like it's like you can't get out of them per se. And I really think like those particular things were connected to traumas that in my past that I'm still holding on to and haven't released. And also ancestrally, there's probably someone in my ancestry that was in my same position, wanting to do something creatively with my art, and where I found that they never did, and it's up to me to break that. And wow, that's like super powerful. To heal myself, and in a sense I heal my lineage, which is like, whoa, that's huge. That's huge. It's like my ancestors are looking over me and they're like, you've got this. You can do this. This is something that I've wanted to do, and you're doing it. What I experienced when I was talking about these things with my friend, pain in my shoulders, pain in my stomach, pain in my chest. And I realized, like, before, with experiencing bodily pain, before I would think of like, what's wrong with me? What did I eat? What did I eat that's causing pain? I would always correlate it with the food that I ate that's like causing me these issues. And then whenever anxiety would come up, I would also think that anxiety was like through food. I think there is something to be said about eating healthily. I absolutely agree with that. I won't even get into that world. But I will say that there is a lot to be said about listening to that pain. And that pain was coming up as especially throughout the week, I was trying to question, like, because I had a really upset stomach this week. I was having a lot of stomach issues, and when I started to just like look into, rather than blaming the food I was eating, I looked into like, what was I experiencing, feelings in those moments of this week. And it was entrapment. I was feeling trapped, confined. And I think one of my main missions is to free myself, to be free. Everybody wants to be free. And within that freedom is liberation and power and beauty. And I was feeling confined and afraid, and that anger was showing up within that week. And then I could only correlate those stomach issues most likely with that, because when I started talking to my friend about that anger, that those stomach issues started to literally like just not even be there, like, because I was having pain before the call, and then they kind of went away when I was expressing it. And now is the time to take ownership. But like, I think one of the most important things to connect with you about, and to reveal is to reveal what I'm experiencing, what I'm realizing, is listening to my feelings, listening to my pain that I'm experiencing, so that I can transmute those feelings into mature forms of masculinity. And not to say, I think that, and this is for another topic, but I do think that there can be a nice balance of masculinity and femininity in oneself. But I'm particularly talking about masculine forms of energy. And in this moment, I think that I heard from this, and I'll mention it again, I heard from this guy, the masculine mature form of anger is willpower. It looks at what's coming up and learning to adjust. With anger, you're realizing that there's something that's out of alignment with your values. And to transmute that to willpower, that you're looking at that anger and you're learning to adjust to that, adjusting your life. So I'm realizing these things are coming up, and I am now taking action. And I just through talking about ancestral trauma and the feelings that came up within me, I know it's powerful work. I could just feel it. I could just feel it right on the precipice, and I'm excited to dive in, and I'm also scared of what is to come. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I love you all, and I will talk to you next week.